This is our second video talking about the aspirations and the idea behind the channel, what we hope to do on the channel in the near future and ongoing basis. Just kind of continuing what we were talking about the last video is that we're trying to use AI as a tool to tell stories. Now that can be used in different forms. Generative AI can be used as far as allowing you to do pictures, images, video. Now you can even do sound effects, music, voices. So there's many different uses, many different areas that AI can assist you with. In my case, I'm kind of dabbling in all of that, not necessarily the music piece. If you hear the music on any of my videos, those are music that I actually get from a site that allows the creators to use the music. Now, I don't know if that music that they have on the site is AI generated, but it's attributed to a real person as far as the creator. So I'm believing that it's actually a live person, flesh and blood. Nevertheless, there are other means, and people, we know that people use AI for music. It's a whole big controversy over that too. But as I stated in other videos, even our AI overlords promo, that we're not here to advocate for anybody losing jobs and AI taking over and kicking people to the curb. The whole thrust of this channel is to use AI as a means to express your ideas and to do some heavy lifting behind the scenes, or maybe in front of the scenes too, of course, with the video and imagery. But I just remember as a kid growing up, my brother and I would go to the movies and we would be inspired. We would go and see, back in those days in the 80s, we would see, Tron or Star Wars or whatever, Indiana Jones, when it was new. And we would go home and we would get our little sketchbooks and we would draw and we would try to come up with our own adventures, continuing adventures of what we saw on the screen, or little flip books of our own original stories. And that's kind of what I started using AI for myself. It's just, okay, let me get some visuals behind this. I also mentioned the last video of doing a fan fiction script, and during that particular project, we talked about how could we do visuals, how could we do storyboards? Was there a way to kind of get some rudimentary animation for the script that we were trying to do? And at that time, we were hard pressed to do it, to find anything that was not going to cost an arm and a leg. Now, fast forward over 10 years since that project was involved in that project. It's probably more like 15 years since then. If we had the AI tools we have now, it would just be, just easy, for lack of a better word. Easy is easy. It would have been easy. So now, I'm not involved in any type of collaboration type of scenario like I was back then. I have about 60 different story ideas. Everything from full out plots and characters and scenes to just little story ideas and little offshoot stories. Just a lot of different things jotted down, or now typed up, as it were, on my computer, saved in my story idea file. And some of those things can translate, I hope to translate into full-fledged novels and get them published, either self-published or audio books, or put on Amazon or some other platform. Other stories will turn into short stories or novellas. Some stories may be merged and blended into other stories because I just won't have time to kind of, or they may not have enough weight um, behind them to be stories, independent stories on their own. So the aim is to use AI to get those stories told, to get my ideas out. Whether or not they become I become world famous, or it's just for my own pleasure to see my ideas out, to birth my own story children so they can live out their lives in my own little universe. Let me go ahead and apologize. I'm suffering from sinus congestion. Allergies is that season. So I am congested and clogged up. I apologize about the audio and my voice quality. There's not an AI filter or anything going on. It's just the allergies wreaking havoc with my voice. But we'll press on. So my workflows consist of everything from having AI help me segregate different story ideas, break down larger stories into more of episodic type of storytelling, helping me helping outline different stories. The idea is not to have AI do 90% of the work and I only do 10. At the most, as far as the story itself, maybe there's a 50-50 split, but most of the time my stories are about a 70-30. My original ideas and dialogue and characters, and maybe 30%, 40% of the AI kind of suggesting different changes or different settings or different ways or changes in the plot to make the plot a little bit better. I have had AI generate story prompts, and what I'll do is I'll take the story prompt and the things that I like about the prompt I'll keep, and I'll change up some stuff. I'll change the genders of the character's name. I'll change the location. Perhaps it was supposed to happen in a country town. I'll take it to an urban city. Maybe it was supposed to happen in the future. I'll put it in the past. So I'll use it as a prompt, as a prompter to a certain extent, but then I'll make that prompt my own. So it's not the AI just, totally having its way as far as the idea. As far as my storyboards, I'm using it to generate so I can see visually from one scene to the next or one chapter to the next how the flow of the story would go. There are some stories that I hope to complete in total and post the videos here on the channel. One of those are, you may have seen the promo, The Dry Hollow Bones. The story prompt came from AI. I changed up, I would say about half, at least half of the prompt to kind of suit me, the character names, location, some of the plot points. Then from there, kind of it did is due as far as making it into episodes. 8 episodes in total. The AI segregated the story, but I will probably combine a couple episodes together. Instead of 8, it'll probably be 6. The music that goes along with that, I'm using Upbeat. It's in the description of every video I post. I just found just so much good music with them. I don't think the majority of this stuff is AI generated. I believe they have actual people. I know they have actual people that create music now. Whether or not those actual people are using AI tools to do that, I don't know. They have different composers and they post them there. With a subscription, you can use them for your social media or your YouTube for commercial use without any copyright strikes. And I do not want any copyright strikes. So no, they're not a sponsor. I just found them very useful, and I did a trial membership with them and end up subscribing to them after listening to a lot of different music. And music is not the only thing they have on there, so that would be my first. If you want to know something about tools I use Upbeats, and like again, it's posted in the description of all my videos. They're not a sponsor. Maybe in the future, I don't know. But I just found a lot of useful things on their site, so check them out. And then I would say another tool that I use that I'll just go ahead and plug, and they're not a sponsor, is Perchance. Perchance has a lot of good tools. You have to watch out though. There's a lot of weirdness on Perchance, but I have found them useful in the past, so you may want to check that out. And I will probably do a more detailed video about how I use Perchance and Upbeats in the future. But just to kind of wrap this video up, the channel again is just to promote storytelling using AI tools, trying to give the little guy a chance to tell their stories. I look at AI and AI tools kind of like back in the day when George Lucas stood up Industrial Light and Magic to help him tell his stories, do all the modeling for Star Wars and the original three, or I guess the middle three now, of the Star Wars movies. Industrial Light and Magic did the modeling, all the lighting, the special effects, and the same way that now, more recently, of course, is over. Man, time flies. Over 20 years ago or so, Lord of the Rings with the Weta Workshop and Peter Jackson, employing Weta to do all the modeling and special effects and stuff. So likewise, I'm using AI and AI tools to do my modeling, my imagery, my special effects, and all those type of things to storytell and help realize my story. So I hope you will stay tuned as we go through the process, the journey, our own individual journeys, and my journey in particular, as we use AI tools to tell stories. Sci-fi stories and fantasy stories are pretty much my wheelhouse. There's maybe one or two dramas that I would like to do, dramatic type of things, and mysteries, of course, because we have the Dry Hollow Bones, which I hope you stay tuned to. The story of Alvy Ross, and I will probably do a video specifically about Dry Hollow Bones, the Dry Hollow Bones, and how that came about and some of the process behind that. But until then, I hope you have a good day. God bless, and we'll see you soon.